Okay. All right. Looks like I'm live on another channel. Sorry about that. I had trouble getting up. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get it up. It happened the other day. Same thing. Uh, boy, I don't know how to go back and tell everybody what happened. Uh, apologize everybody out there. For some reason, this thing would not load. It would not go streaming. But I'm on here now. It happened to me the other day. Same thing. I have no idea why it did that. I don't know if the signal was weak. My transmitter is about 70 feet away, and sometimes it affects it that way. Anyway, everybody out there, hope my mods make it over here. They may be on the other side trying to get in yet. I don't know. Hold tight and let me see what I can do. Okay. It looks like we're going okay now. Back to the other side and boy, this thing is slow. Can, can all of you hear me? I'm going to go back and see, and the other one must be holding this one up. Okay, is that any better? It looks like did it speed up any at all for you? Okay, I guess my other I tried to get up. This thing would not load. I don't know what happened. It happened the other day. Same thing. Uh, I'm hoping we don't lose this. If you hold tight there, I'm going to try to go back and get everybody over to this live. Right now, it shows two lives. Just hold tight. Oh, there, I see I've got, it looks like it's getting a little better. I'm still lagging a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm glad you got it over here okay, Road King. I hope most of you were able to drop off the other side and get in here. All right. Some of you got to see what I was talking about earlier, Voices for Freedom. As you know that, yeah, I'm being sued. The germ decided to come down on somebody that stood up for somebody else. Now, the one thing I wanted to get across to everybody is I am going to fight this thing no matter what. I feel it was unfair. Our freedoms somebody's trying to impose on them. And if we're not able to go out and fight for a family, to try to get them up to a normal standard so that they can walk down the street, go to a post office, go to the grocery store, go to the trading post, then something is wrong with our country. And the people that use our courts and try to bury this thing in courts, there's something wrong with them. And this, I'm giving you my opinion to keep this, whatever he is, from trying to shut down this channel right now, because we're going to get attacked while I'm on here talking. I can tell you that for sure. If one of his mods gets in here, or one of his people gets in here and starts raising Cain, don't feel bad at all about running them down the road. I don't have any use for those people at this point. I'm not happy with them at all. What gets me is that people like me, now I'm in my 80s now, but I was raised in a country that believed in freedoms. And there was a lot of us when we were in our teens that went in the military, and we went in at a time when it was not popular. People that wore a uniform in the 60s and 70s were not accepted back home very well. But it didn't stop any of us from doing it anyway. We thought our country was the best thing in the world. We were taught that. Our parents taught that. My dad fought in World War II. It was instilled in me at an early age about our freedoms. And when I stand up for freedoms of somebody else and somebody steps on mine while I'm doing it, it upsets me very much, very much. And I'm hoping that some of you feel the same way, because this voice is for freedom that I want to push. And I will put up an email address up here sometime in the next week on my channel so that we can express what we want in private if we want to keep it that way, okay? But I want to get the point across that people like this should not be able to get away with it. This person that drives down that road and tries to contain John and Michelle, their basic freedoms, is in the wrong, in my opinion. And he can say anything he wants and try to justify it, but put on their shoes, walk in their shoes a while. Just do that for me. And tell me how you would feel if you look behind you and here comes this pickup truck with a guy hanging out of the truck with a camera taking your picture, yelling 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet. Well, you've all seen that particular video. Just to let you know, John Cook gave up drinking some months ago. He is doing everything he can to comply with it, what everybody else thinks should be normal for him, so we can get past this darn thing that's come down on him with. It looks like they're being held prisoners, if you will. Whenever you take freedom away from somebody, you make them a prisoner. Now, anyone out there, do you think it would be fair if somebody come to your town and they filed a PO against you in a little town of 100 people? You have to stay 500 feet away from this guy. Think about 500 feet, how far that stretches in a town of 100 people. The papers were sent to me by email, Pebs. There's a notice. I haven't got the full thing, but I did get to see it. Believe it or not, before I got mine, his minions out there had it and had it on the YouTube. They had it before I did. And they were going through it page by page. Oh, yeah. And I got to see it. I looked at it, and I wasn't happy, because he's infringing on my particular rights, my voice, and I have done nothing that he has not already done to John and Michelle. All I'm doing is stepping up to help somebody that needed help. That's it. And a lot of you have done the same thing. Now, I'm pretty vocal about stuff like that. And I guess maybe that's because of the way I was brought up. But I'm not going to let some bully overlord on somebody else. Anybody that thinks I wouldn't fight back, boy, they don't know me at all. Absolutely don't know me. The battle scars that I carry on me were well earned. I'm going to tell you, not over in another country, but along the way or the path of life. I'm not a person that backs down from anything or anybody, and I'm not going to start now. I will not stop fighting for Michelle and John or their rights or the rights of anybody else that needs help along the way. Every one of us could end up in that same thing. Everyone. Now, I believe it or not, I did get a good night's sleep. But I woke up this morning, I was almost as upset or mad as I was when I went to bed last night, to think that somebody like that has the audacity. There was somebody in my chat on the one I put up as a teaser before I got in here that said, well, does that mean that somebody's not a veteran is less? I did not want to put that kind of out. I told you what I did, and I did not say one word about what I expected anybody else to do. I just called out Jeremy that he didn't do that. What did he do for this country? Right now, he's busy taking my rights away from me, rights that I earned. I earned those rights, believe me. What I told that person was that if he believed in God and country and family, then welcome to the club. I mean, I'll shake hands with him and smile. I did not mean for him to be any less. You don't have to be a veteran to earn those rights. You just have to love this country, believe in that flag that stands for our country, believe in our Lord, and believe in a family unit. That's how we stick together. That's how we can be something. And that's why we're not going to let families be stepped on or steamrolled. Money should not be the deciding factor in the innocence or the guilt of anybody out there. The scales of justice aren't always balanced. They just aren't. Money buys things. Money sways things. The other day I went on here and told you what money can do to the thinking of a normal person. And I proved what it can do. But in a case like this, when somebody is going to be affected to this amount, it affects them the rest of their life. And if that isn't worth fighting for, well, I don't know what is. And just because somebody's going to sue me, they're going to make me stop, make me keep my mouth shut, not be able to exercise my freedoms, baloney. I'm going to do it anyway. Anything that's legal for me to do, I am going to move forward and do that. And I will fight tooth and nail for those rights. I fought for them before, and I am not going to stop now. As old as I am, I have that same drive that I had when I was 17 years old. 2 weeks after I turned 17, I went in the Army. 6 months later, I was in Germany. I spent 2 years out there guarding the border. No qualms about it whatsoever. I did not mind it at all. It was my country. When I came back, I had a different view of this country that I was born in. I love this country. I love the freedoms, the things that we stand for. Freedom of speech, a basic thing. And this guy is trying to take it away from me by taking me to a federal court. I served in the federal government for these rights. The commander-in-chief at that time was John Kennedy. And I'm going to tell you something. I would do the same thing all over again today. And I am doing it every day as far as fighting for rights. And what I'm saying about freedom for voices, freedoms per voice, I mean it. I really mean it. That's basic. If you don't have that, you don't have a country. And for somebody like that to do whatever they got and putting that kind of money against it, you want to know what really wrinkles me? He's asking people like you and I to support his court costs to sue people like me. See, he thinks that somebody like me, I'm too old to fight for myself because he likes the steamroller effect. And he said that in his chats. He has no idea what worth is. None. Worth is not counted in dollars. It's counted in what you have in your heart, what you've done, what you're willing to do. Now, when I put this email up in the coming week, and you're welcome to talk back and forth to me, and it can be kept private. All you got to do is put it on there private. And that's what it'll be. But if you're going to help me fight, and you put it in there, then you're on my team. Okay? I do not want to do anything that's illegal. Back in my day, we had signs of protest. It is legal. If somebody drives past your house and you make a sign and you say, this guy drove past my house today 10 times, whatever amount of times it was. This guy called me up at night and woke me up out of my clear sleep. You can do that. It's your right. It's legal. You can inform the public of what somebody is doing with a sign and walk past their property. You cannot enter their property, but you can walk past it. We now have a family that cannot walk down the street freely. You understand what that is? A street in front of their house. They're scrutinized with cameras. Are we going to allow that kind of stuff to happen? Have you ever heard fire with fire? Maybe this guy will try to trip you in the store. Do you think maybe you could turn it in and say the guy's picking on you, you need a PO on it? Well, Florida might make you do it a few times. But after a while, Florida will get the idea and give you a PO so you can protect yourself down there. But it needs to be done. This is what's going on. People like this will not quit. They're going to keep on doing it over and over and over. I do not, absolutely do not condone physical violence in any way. So when you listen to me, I don't want you to be fired up and mad and do something illegal, something that'll get you in trouble. What I'm doing, standing up for my rights, that's my right to do that. It's my right to voice it. It's my right to have an opinion. I'm not going to use slanderous remarks on somebody, but I will tell the truth about them. If they're harassing me, then that's harassment. After the things that I've tried to do for my country and your country, I've got somebody trying to take my rights away from me. I don't deserve that in any way. And you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to have your rights taken away from you. Barry says, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm a fighter. I'm just telling you, I will not lay down for somebody to step on my rights. I did not put a uniform on. I did not carry a weapon on my shoulder for all those years to lay down and let somebody step on me. No, I'm not going to back off. I am not going to lay down. I am still going to do everything I can to make sure that John and Michelle have their rights restored back to them in a timely manner, if possible. Now, this guy is going to go from one lawsuit to another. Mark my words, it's my opinion, but he's not going to stop with me. And you've already heard him talk about another neighbor. Is this a disease? Is this going to be a cancer out there in Otter Creek going from one neighbor to the next neighbor to the next neighbor? Do we need to sue everybody out there to make everybody quiet? To make everybody mow their grass down to 2 inches? Come on. What happened to the freedoms? Our freedom of choice. What happened to them? Court litigations. We going to allow somebody to make a living off from that kind of stuff? Where is this going to go? And where is it going to stop? Do you think it's going to stop with somebody like me? No. I don't sue people. But I don't like people that make their living off from doing it. We can't even get a lawyer for ourselves without that lawyer being scrutinized and picked on. The lawyers that are representing John and Michelle, their families have been picked apart by this group of people that think it's funny. They get on their videos and they laugh and laugh and laugh. They think it's cute. I don't think it's cute at all. My opinion is they're like little sixth graders trying to pick on the new kid in town. Now, you guys, most of the time I try to put it across that I don't like to see people get upset and raise Cain and all that kind of stuff. It's not a good thing to do. But I have told you I will not turn my cheek. And I'm not going to do it now. Freedom of voices. What's it stand for? It stands for our rights to speak, our opinion, to converse back and forth. Do you realize there's countries where you can't speak without permission out there? No. There are a lot of countries out there where it'll be the end of you if you say the wrong thing. In our country, if we can't vocalize and use our rights, someday it will happen. Maybe not to us, but maybe one of our grandkids will lose the right to speak. I think of that song in the year 2525, If Man is Still Alive. And I'm wondering if they have us in mind when they made that song, because now I'm thinking, just because we can't do something and we don't use it, are we going to lose it? Because that's what happened in the song 2525. If we reach the point where we no longer use something and we're going to lose it, because it could happen. And it is happening. Oh, this guy, he says things over and over and over. I need your help. I'm only one person. Each person out there that has done like I have are now under attack. And these lawsuits are BS. You know it. I know it. He knows it. And all those people out there are having fun. What gets me is when somebody has it before I do, and you know why they have it? Because he gave it to them. It don't make sense, does it? But it does tell you why it's being filed, doesn't it? It's filed at 3 p.m, and guess what? They have it in their hands probably before it was filed. In my opinion, obviously, again, that when they hit the the streets out there, and they're selling it like a newspaper, and that's what they're doing, by the way. You know, you have to pay if you want a newspaper, right? Okay, on their video, they get paid for that. You know what I get? The wrong end of that stick that was poked in the cow pie. Yeah, that's what I get. Well, this time he poked the bear. Now, not too many years ago, I knew enough people in the area that in a very short period of time, I could have had a lot of signs made and we could be protesting in that little town down there. And I say we, I mean me too. I've been all up and down the East Coast doing seminars and making money for a company that I really believed in. And I loved all the freedoms this country gave me so that I could do that. And I thought I could leave all this rough stuff way behind. I don't have as many contacts out there anymore. All I've got is something going on here on YouTube. Got hopefully some of you. Can I depend, hopefully, that are some of you willing to stand up and say, yes, I believe in those freedoms? If you do, spread the word. Let somebody else know. Start your own channel. Get on there and talk about Voices for Freedom, Freedom for Voices. You know, it's important that we have that right. And if you can do it with a little piece of instrument like this, you don't need this mic. You don't have to have the earphones. Everything is right here. There's a camera right up there. If I unplug all this stuff, I can still do it here. It won't come across as loud or maybe as plain, but you can do it. People do it every day. Some of you do it on your phone. You can get on here and use your phone. Okay? Spread the word. You can't, your freedoms are going to disappear. You got to talk about it. Fight for it in your own way if you can. I am going to fight for mine tooth and nail. I am not going to let this lay. I am not going to let him back off. We are going to meet head to head. You guys, in a very short period of time, will know about me, and you will know my history. Because as we get into this litigation, I will let everybody know where I came from and what I've done all my life. Like I say, I'm not going to hide in a corner. Part of why I stay out of the limelight, or did, I'm not going to stay out of the limelight anymore, by the way, but part of the reason I did was because I wanted to protect my family. I've had to go through protection of my family once before. I'm not really going to do that like I did before. We're down to just my wife and I, unless my family, my kids get doxxed. If they do, I don't want to be in the people's footsteps that did that. The people that I did business with, most of them are gone now. So all I can do is rely on people that I've met, whether through the internet, people that believe in the cause, people that believe in the freedoms of our country. I hope all of you have that heart, that drive, the grit. I'm not smiling as much as I usually do. And the reason is because I'm dead serious. I don't want you to go through the things that I'm going to go through here pretty soon, because this guy will be taking the freedoms of mine away to keep my family safe and secure. In my opinion, he wants to put each of us in the same position that John and Michelle have gone through for the past year and a half. He wants each of us to suffer. He wants each of us to worry about our life. Now, one thing about John and Michelle, they have one more thing to worry about, something they hold dearly. And I think all of us that have been around, we hold that same thing dearly. We, under no circumstances should we ever back off from the safety of that family. We need to return their right to walk the streets of Otter Creek. We need to return the right for them to shop at Walmart. We need to return the right for them to use social media again. We need to make sure they have the right to be down there at the flea market and sell their products without being harassed. We need to return the right to that family to go to something as simple as the post office. I think I heard something about Willis saying something about if his truck is at the trading post, John is not to show up. That the owner of the place said John couldn't go there. Do those people have so much influence that they can take another person there and limit their shopping ability? Is that true? Can they do that? They own the shop. I guess they can. Willis don't live there. Jeremy is a part-timer. Michelle and John live there full-time, and yet they're the ones that don't have the right to use the facilities in that town. The security that I've had of not showing where I live is now going away because of this yo-yo. My opinion is that was his intent. And he, in fact, if you look way back, one of his videos said, if he can strike somebody on these videos, he can find out where they live, because you have to put your information on there to fight the strike. And he's right. Because when he took one of my videos down, sure enough, in there is, I could have fought the thing, and I more than likely would have won it, because it was nothing more than a parody, which has been done over and over to me and everybody else that has fought this fight. These parodies have been up on 2 Lees to them, taking them and putting them up for scrutiny. The diary is up almost on a daily basis by the Rat Man over John and Michelle. These people love to make fun of you. They tried to make me look like a transsexual. Listen, nothing against the transsexuals. I'm just not one. That's all. I have a right to be me. I'm heterosexual. I love being this. I love being me. I've never told somebody else they couldn't be something they are, but I've never accused them of being me. These people, they use anything they can to berate you. When John was being verbally attacked by Jeremy out there, and he used all the kinds of things that no Christian would want to use to yell at him. And John was very calm about it. Have you ever seen John really get excited? No. He's a bigger man than that. And he knows how to handle the situation, and he did fine. Guapo did fine when he had to handle that situation with that guy. Guapo had the balls to stand up to him. I guarantee you, the more people that can stand up for your rights, the more secure your rights will be. So, if nothing else, and I'm going to shorten this up pretty soon, because I'm wearing it out, I know, and I apologize to you for that. It's just that it's stuck in my craw. I wanted to get it out. I want you to know that I'm not going to back off, and I'm not going to let him back off. We are going to end this. This thing is going to go through. We're going to see the fruit off that tree before it's over with. This guy stepped on my rights. and he is going to pay dearly for it. My opinion is that. I hope when your day comes where you have to stand up, I hope everyone out there will stand up and do what you have to do. Threats, they should just be able, like water off your back. Our laws were not meant to punish people just because you said something that disagreed with your neighbor. And you know what this whole thing would have been? Nothing more than a neighbor dispute that has now turned into a multi-million-dollar drama show by a bunch of people. And they're all feeding off from us, the viewer. Every time we click into one of their channels, it's like the one-armed bandit won again. Ding, 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 ding. And the money comes rolling out. That's what happens. They're feeding off from us. My opinion is it's like a bunch of vultures out there. They can't wait for one of us to step in that little trap that's set. Hopefully it's one that they can go out there and get together and they can have a campfire and talk over it and do their hee-hees and the whole works. When you look at their faces, it's almost like they found some carrion along the road and they're all devouring it because exactly how they look. All right. Well, my speech is over. And any of you that want to follow in this fight of mine that I'm going to fight tooth and nail to the end, you're welcome to do it. And like I say, I'm going to put up a email address for you in the next week here. And you can express yourself without being shown to anybody else because it will be private between you and me. And if you don't want it private, you want to let everybody know that you are fighting for those freedoms, we can get you back on here in comment section and give you a voice on here. Okay. Anybody who wants to throw darts, now's your time. Because I'm in a better mood now. I expressed everything I wanted to say. All right. Fight, fight, fight. All right. Thank you, Denise. Pebs, freedom for voices. Yes. Mary's Homestead, freedoms for voices. Ed the Warrior. I like the fingers, Christian, better. Odessa, there's 3 legal modes of service by a paper server sheriff. Registered mail. All need proof the person listed is the person who received the writ. Trigger Andy, we're with you, Ray. Kim Shu, I'm here to the end. Darwin, being served by email can be a failed complaint with bar. Just to let you know that an email, if it's sent and it's been received, if it is a private email, you're not going to you can't walk away from it. So, and there will be backups coming. Let me tell you, I've already had 2 more backups come in. It says John Doe, aka Bone Crusher. Betty, we are going to change that very soon. I've got to get my ducks in a row first, and I've got to make sure protections are in place. But I'm telling you, I am coming. He poked the bear this time. I do not, absolutely do not back off. Any sense of the word. Shawana Angel, Warrior. Michelle Murphy. Hi, Ray, stay strong. They aren't worth it. We're going to put an end to this some way. And we're going to do it legally. We're not going to do it any other way but legally. Jeremy is a nuisance. Okay, Monica. JP, petition should be started to send to YouTube and get germ taken off. I don't know. I don't think that'll work. They already know about him. They know what he's doing. They've looked at the strikes, and he has survived them. He is going to survive for another day. Now, one thing I can tell you for sure, federal lawsuits, when it comes down to the civil penalties, will carry through into this venue. And I'm not going to tell you why, but I will tell you there will be repercussions. Let's see. Groovy Day. If you watch Germ's latest videos, you can see his anxiety is getting worse and worse. He never expected to be fighting so many when he bullied Michelle and John. See, the thing of it is, he wasn't fighting so many. He picked the fight. He picked the fight with us. He came to us. We expressed an opinion, and he wanted it suppressed. I am not going to be suppressed. My opinion, I'm going to give out on a regular basis. If you don't believe me, before this week is up, you will see me on another venue, and I am going to express my opinion. And more people are going to get to see it. And more of that's going to happen in the future. Let's see. Bodie, served by email is not legal. No proof the person is who they say they are. Both paper server and sheriff see the person registered. Mail requires a signature. Heck, I don't check my email for weeks. Okay. Black truck with dually. That's Travis. Yeah, well then, you know something? Travis don't live there. And yet he's harassing people around there in that town. And all of a sudden, he's saying something on there about when his truck is parked at that store up there, the Post, John is not allowed there. I don't believe how somebody from out of town can stop a resident from a town from being in a store. But if that's the way this owner of the store is, there's nothing we can do about it. John did not pick that. He did not start it in any way. And yet he's being blamed for it. That's my opinion again, because I'm going by what I seen. Travis claims otherwise, but that's not what I seen on the video. Scampy girl, what'd you say there? Let me see. Boy, I lost it. We're all with you, Ray. Groovy Day. Monica, how horrible for them to steal the memorial. That happened twice. Bonnie's in like, oh my goodness, Lisa, that's just evil. Did it happen again, Lisa? I know it happened twice. Ray's last name was probably revealed, and that angers me. It hasn't been revealed yet, Ed, but I'll be the one to reveal it. And like I say, the reason I try to protect my family, when you're up against 750,000 people that are making threats, and the evil that they were trying to do to Michelle and John, you do everything to protect your own family. But when your family is at risk, there is nothing you won't do to protect it. Nothing. You can only be legally served by email if the receiving party you has agreed to accept service electronically, or if the court grants permission through a specific order. One of the problems with the email is it is one I don't have control over, even though it's mine. Okay. I tried to look up the legalities of it, and there's some legal issues, and I'll explain them to you at a later date, not right now. My favorite Canadian friend on YouTube, she's talking about Ed. Let's see. 2 leaves in a pod. Sorry, I got all devices and on the phone too. Holy mackerel. Lisa, you're busy. Let's see. Tori Jones. Ray, your last name is Butt Kicker. You know something, Tori? As long as I've got a tiger in my corner like you, I'm not too worried. And I've got a lion like 2 Lees, like Lisa. And the combination of the two of you, I would face anything down. I'm not afraid of anything out there. And believe me, I'm in your corner too. Let's see. This thing really jumped all of a sudden. So let's see what we got here. Somebody stole the memorial again. Was is that the third time? I just they couldn't have stolen it again. I thought it was going to be a permanent memorial. I know it was done twice. Police are by the memorial right now. Lisa, did somebody mess up the newest one that was put in there? Because that's horrible. The memorial was stolen last night. What the heck is wrong out there? That's the fourth one. Wow. Wow. Do you see what I mean, people? When people step on us and the bullies prevail, if we don't stand up, we're going to run out of cheeks. You only have two of them. It just can't happen over and over and over. Don't use force, but use every legal means you can. When I put that email up, do your best to let me know where people are that are doing that to us and who it is. We'll try to make it bear fruit, okay? Keep me intact. The post was moved with it. You know what? Somehow we need to protect that with a camera. If we can find a camera to hide, but it probably wouldn't do any good. People like that, they probably wore hoodies or whatever so you can't see their face. Doggone it. That's despicable. Seriously, what is wrong with people? That's what Stacy says. Uncle Mike said last night they took it. Aussie said people are sick. Why are doing that? Why can't we revolt against the system? It is time for place cards and marching to happen. We need to stick up for each other. Boy, I got a light back there that's really throwing out my. Let's see if I can change it. Boy, that thing is really bad. Wow. I'll get here. Maybe it won't be quite as bad. I don't know. Boy, that thing is terrible. People cannot continue to do that in that small town. People have to understand about standing up. For Lord's sake, I'm 80 and I'm going to stand up. I'm telling you, if I was on the street and that guy took a poke at me, I'd poke him back. I would fight till no breath is left. I would not, absolutely not back off. A coward will never stop bullying you. They will keep coming as long as you take it. Don't do something illegal, but don't run away. Woo. Don't let them get away with this stuff. Somehow, somebody has to see something and say something about it. Follow through with it. Back in my time, we put the sign up there and we walked in front of the place and said, this person did that. All it had to be was the truth, and you could do it. It's legal. I know now they like to throw fire bombs and stuff like that. Don't do that. That takes away from what you were trying to do. Martin Luther King, he fought for the people that were downtrodden. At the time, he didn't care what color you were. We need somebody to lead us in a path to get this taken care of, get it straightened out. It sometimes takes a lot of people to voice the same concern. So please, don't let this thing get lost. Don't let it get lost. This thing is lagging a little bit, and I can't help it. My signal apparently is weak today, and I don't know why. My August says, you may be 80, but in my eyes, you were a young whippersnapper. I don't feel that old. Mary's Homestead, Ray, crush it. Christy says, we know you won't back down, Ray. You can get a laugh later. My further ex-wife in my doghouse video. Hey, now that I'm looking forward to, Darwin. I know who you're talking about, and I want to see it. Oh, Chiefs will insist, and I hope MLS steps up. I can't say anything about MLS right now. Things will. Each person that is being sued will have to make a decision here very soon. A decision of how to handle this lawsuit. Let's put it that way. So each person will probably come on their own station and let everybody know what their plan is. Okay. Obviously, I'm trying to get as many people interested as possible. I mean, if we don't get this thing out there where more people see it, it's going to happen over and over. And I would like to see these actions come to a stop. Now, this guy is not going to stop doing what he's doing until the law does it. But all of you out there with actions can make sure that the law is aware of what's happening. You have to get on the phone. You have to turn these people in when they're doing things inappropriately. They're making jokes. And I feel bad for the people that live there in town because the whole world that looks in there thinks they're addicts of some kind. It's just not true. But if you don't stand up, people are going to believe that. And it'd be unfair for everybody to take that kind of an attitude towards the good citizens that live there. And the problem is they're letting this guy, and I don't know if there's too many people sometimes that can't stand up for their own rights. And a lot of them say, it's not bothering me, so I'm not going to worry about it. We did not form this nation from people that thought that way. The only reason we were able to have freedom is everybody joined the fight. Everybody did. It was either that or go into bondage back in England. I don't think many of you realize how many people came over here were indentured slaves. In order for them to pay for their passage to get into this country, they had to guarantee their personal labor until they had paid off the passage cost. They, in fact, were slaves or servants to the people that paid that passage. Today, that's illegal. DRD says, hello, Ray. This is just horrible, but I'm proud of you. I want you all to be proud of each other. A lot of people, I know they're fighting for it. I mean, it's no different than that guy that came in there and because of the way I stated something, he took it wrong because I came on there and said, I'm a veteran. I deserve my rights. And then he said, if you're not a veteran, then you're less or whatever it is. And I did come back and tell him what I thought. Okay. The only thing you have to be a good person here, you believe in God and country and your family. That's it. The veteran part is I worked hard to get my rights, and I still believe in them. And I did it not because I was selfish. I did it for the country at the time. You are part of the country. You're the citizen. Every citizen. Some of them I get disappointed in because they use it the wrong way. This guy that's suing me, he took advantage of what I did or tried to do for this country. There are millions of us up together in this country since the inception that did the same thing. Our forefathers, their blood colors our flag. We left our blood on every country in the world, fighting for the freedoms here. And we let somebody like this take them away from us? Something is wrong. We can't let it happen. We have to fight. We have to fight. Please, if you see something, say something. Don't let them take a couple and say, well, they weren't any good. Look at this. This is what they did. Don't let them do that. And I could care less if they did something that somebody else thinks is wrong. Right now, they're trying to be decent citizens. They're raising a child. John gave up his drinking. You know how hard that is? I'm telling you, we need to keep our head on our shoulders, keep our mind on what we want to do, be able to interpret what we see, and tell everybody about it. We can beat this, but we got to get it out there to everybody out there. People need to understand it. Get in, make your channel, put things up there like this. Come in my channel, express it in here. Let people see how you feel. Put your comments in here. That's why I'm up here today. I'm hoping your comments that there'll be enough people look at it. Maybe before all this is over with, I may lose this channel. If I do, if 2 or 3 of you can start a channel of your own, it won't be for a loss that I lose this. It'll be for a gain because somebody out there decided to take my place. You know, when you're in the military, your best friend is the guy that's got your back next to you. I want to tell you something out there. I have got your back in this. I will do everything I can for you. I do ask if you can do something for me, please help me out. Get the word out there. This guy has to be stopped before he gets too many out there that can't fight back. This is horrendous to anybody that has to feel that. If you don't think about it, if you don't think it's wrong, do me a favor. Ask Michelle how it feels. Ask John how it feels. And then ask them what they think is going to happen when that precious child becomes a teenager and the kids in school start talking about what's happening right now in their town. Think about the damage to this 5-year-old that is being committed on her by these people that are talking and attacking her parents and threatening to take that child away from the mom. If that don't make you cry, I don't. There's nothing I can do to make it any better. You know, there's a guy out there's got a little toy dog or whatever they call it, stuffed animal thing that he named after her so he can poke fun at it. This guy's a veteran. You know, I would have thought better of him. I feel bad for him. I do. Some people choose a path, and it's not a good one, and I'm sorry they do. Simona said, let's see. I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with Ray. That's Road King. Thank you, Road King. You know, the one thing I can tell you right now, there's nothing better than sit down and listen to you on your channel. I am a fan. So, and I hope everybody else is too. You have got a talent. Ruth said, and this same dude tried to say the same thing to the grudge judge about freedom of speech. Yeah, Judge D. Thomas, it's a tough one. But when I looked at it, he took a lot of time up, and he was acting like a professor in front of students. And quite frankly, even by the time Michelle was able to get somebody there to represent her, the time that judge was using up, you got to think of it in terms of $300 or $400 an hour. And it doesn't take long to eat up every penny that Michelle had been given to have that lawyer there. And once the money runs out, the lawyer finds a way to get away from it. It's unfortunate, but without money and a lawyer, you're going to get squashed. The steamroller that Jeremy talked about in one of his videos now wins. The scales of justice are on his side at that point. I'm just saying, and that's my opinion. And there's a lot of judges would argue with me about it, but I think Judge DeThomas could have done better for both parties. This thing would be over and should have been over if the right judge would have been in there at the time. It would not have went this far. I can tell you that. Although it might have stopped people like me from getting sued. But I'm just saying that at least for John and Michelle, they would have had a fair shake. Even though the judge was trying to find in their favor, he took up too much time and it cost him. Everything they had was gone pretty quick. So just, yeah, I think DeThomas's heart was in the right place, but I don't think he realized the cost of the person that were in front of him that he was presiding over. And maybe, hopefully, he's learned a lesson. I don't know if he has or not. Far from me to try to tell a judge what to do. They don't take kindly to that. I wouldn't want to have to pay a lawyer to appear in front of him because it's just too expensive. Okay, Road King, thank you, sir. And your channel is a great place to come. your place is a great one too. Pebs, yeah, the nerve of him. Ruth said that, so she must have said something. John says, Ray, speak the truth. I'm standing with you. K-Bird, amen. DRD says, Road King, love your last video. I'm glad that you do, DRD, because I think he's great at it. Okay, Chiefland Citizen says, sue for attorney fees when it's settled. When you sue somebody and it's hard money out of your pocket, in a case like this, just to let you know, you never know when you're going up against somebody with as much money as Jeremy does, whether you're going to break even or not if you sue him. The other thing is, I've been looking up court cases of things like this, defamation cases or frivolous suits. They very seldom work out good for the person that's doing the suing. And I've looked at it thoroughly. So, okay. So more than likely, the attorney, he's going to look at it and he's going to say, well, normally I would take, let's say 30% or 1/3 or whatever. He's going to say, my fees are $400 or $600 or whatever it is, depending on where his ranking is and his effectiveness. You want to go for the guy that has the best shot at winning it for you, and do what you have to do financially to try to get the money up so that you can take care of it. Otherwise, you're going to be beholden to somebody else, and they're going to hold your money. Where can we read the filing? I tell you what, there is one person that does a good job on it, and that's 2 Lees in a Pod. And I would rather that when it gets read that it's there. Usually Bruce is more than willing to come in and help, I know, but I have not took it off the line yet. And like I say, they've hit me up 3 times now in my personal email. So it is a automatic thing that they send out. It's one of those that they put out there to see if they can find you. You tell the truth, Ray. I'm standing with you. That was Jenny. 2 Lees, SLAPP lawsuit or strategic lawsuit against public participation is a lawsuit to silence critics. SLAPP lawsuits are often used to intimidate and censor people who speak out on an issue of public concern. Yeah, we got hit with a SLAPP one. As you all know, the people that spoke the loudest in the channels here they're trying to spank us. 2 Lees says, you got me, Ray. I'll stand shoulder to shoulder. Thank you. I really enjoy 2 Lees, and the reason is because it's more than her heart. She is a hard worker as well and very intelligent. And she's starting to sing more too, have you noticed? Singing is one of my pastimes. I'm not very good, but I love to do it. So every chance I get to get somebody to follow suit, it's great. One of these days, maybe we'll sing that duet together. Let's see. Defamation suits are hard to prove and win. From what I've read, they don't work out too well. And even though we're getting hit with a definition, there's a type of us similar to that. Remember, we're fighting an uphill battle against somebody that has millions of dollars. Literally, financially, he has the balance of the scales. Now, that's not saying that we can't come out and stand a chance if we get enough people to stand up with us. These types of lawsuits need to come to a halt because they're frivolous and they're meant to contain and entertain. And if you don't think they were meant to entertain, when one of his people that follow him had that thing up on his channel before I got mine. Okay. So how is that possible? It's possible because that guy's making a living off from it, and somehow Jeremy is letting him know ahead of time when he's filing it. It was filed at 3:30, I think, yesterday afternoon. I'm not too sure. I don't, Lisa, I don't know what time yours was sent, but mine was around 3:30. So, and that was Central Standard Time too, by the way, that was stamped on there. Let's see. Jeremy top. Let's see what it says. I talked to Attorney Betty. It didn't matter. What was I thinking? Says Ray, you have so much wisdom. I'm glad you are here. I've got wisdom, but not a whole lot of time. When I was younger, it was easier for me to do things. Let's put it that way. And I had a lot of people, associates that were of the same mind, and we were able to accomplish a lot of things over the years. When you retire, you lose those connections, and you no longer have that power that you had when you were younger. So then you have to rely on people that have, if you're able to get enough respect from people around you, sometimes they will stick up for you. I have found out that if you put enough pressure on a person, you'll find out how close of a friend they are. And there are people that can't stand up to it. I used to call it grit, and it's not their fault. Not everybody has the grit to stand up. They don't. And so they bluff through with a temper tantrum. And that doesn't always work. But anyway, I don't hold it too much to them. People today are raised much different than they were in my day. A lot of times we settled, well, we might go out behind the barn and settle it. Let's put it that way. It was a different world. And the things that you do back in the 50s and 60s would automatically get you a prison sentence today. So you have to be very careful about how you do something or what you say about it. Slowly but surely, our power, our voices are being taken care of. Jerm may have millions, but look at the only attorney to take his case, LOL felon. But Boadicia, the guy, it's hard to explain it, but when you have, and I don't want to come out, my opinion is this: the type of attorney that you take that doesn't care will pull all strings out because he has nothing to lose and everything to gain. He has already gained apparently a couple $100,000. Now, when you're getting pure profit in your pocket like that at a very short period of time, you don't mind it if somebody comes back and files charges against your license. He's already left one state where he was not allowed to be a dentist, came to Florida rather, and was able to get a license as a lawyer. and he's already been nailed several times over what he did. He's not scared to go before a tribunal and have somebody slap him around a little bit, because he goes right back out and commits the same thing that got him in trouble the first time. And if something happens in this state, he'll go to another state. So there's that type of lawyer. You don't see them everywhere, and they're willing to work for people like Jerem. That's my opinion, that they fit together. They complement each other, and even though they may not win, they cause you damage. And if you looked in there, he has actually stated that as long as he can break him, he don't care. He doesn't give a darn whether he wins. He just wants to break you. Okay, if enough of us get together, we can actually turn the table on him. So it's up to everybody out there to stand up and say, yeah, let's get this thing done. Let's take care of it. And part of that's what I'm asking you to do. We need to know what he's doing. We need to follow what he's doing. And it might be that we're going to have to get some signs and carry them, not plant them. Whatever you do, don't plant them in the ground. Make sure they're in your hand. Use a marker that you can remove the lettering. That way, during the course of a day, you can change the signs up there to say whatever they're doing. If they go into Walmart and try to take down Michelle or John, you get out there in front of Walmart and you say, this guy was after John and Michelle in here and turned them into the sheriff. Things like that. You keep it up, and people get to know what the reputation is. If people are around him and they get the idea they might be the next one to get sued, they may give him a wide berth. Who knows? I mean, I'm not telling you that would be the reason to do it. I'm just saying that's the kind of things that could happen. Okay. But whatever you do, don't get yourself in trouble. Let's see. Brenda says, Lisa, can you go on earlier than 10? I always miss them because I get up at 2:30 a.m. for work. Boy, that makes it tough. I'll tell you what I do. I usually go to bed before Lisa's done. And then the next day I try to get as much of it, listen to as much of it as I can, and put a little notation down there. So even if I can't watch the whole thing, I get to see the rebroadcast of it. So, and it works just as well. Let's see. I think you were because they didn't have your info and just your email again. Oh yeah, you're right, Lisa. I did read that on there. Yours is being, I think it's UPS. It's what I read on there. So, yep, yeah, you're right. Oh, I'm special. I'm John Doe. Let's see here. Big city slicker attorneys are better. Yeah, in a small town, when they're met with a small town judge, sometimes it don't work all that great. It depends on what kind of an influence that lawyer may have had before he got to that small town. Judges have a lot of power in counties and stuff, so it's kind of, I guess you just have to try to get the venue changed to an area where you're able to get better lawyers, so that you can hire that better lawyer and be in front of a judge that won't be influenced by the surrounding area. Oh, let's see. Ed says, I think Feather saw Jeremy was a slime ball, so he recommended a slime ball. I think you're right. Bodicia says, 100% agree, Ray. OMG, send him to Arizona. We'll teach him. Okay, Sandra. Groovy Day. Yep, he's going to get broke. Let's see. Frank says, stand up. Yeah, I hope the more people stand up, the better chance we all have. Bodicia, totally, Ed. Jenny, can do that. Peculiar optics. Jeremy's lawyer is an ambulance chaser. Yes, and that was in the thing there. If you've seen that, Oh, let's see. Jenny says eraser boards. Yeah. Yep. 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 That's what you want to use on the sign. Don Foyle, I think Shockett and Feather are in the same law firm. I don't know. The one recommended the other, and they both showed up that one day, I thought. But uh, Lori Meyer, maybe not science, just saying. John Cook, what's happening, Ray? Oh, the same old thing. they're tr- they're trying to pick on me, John. And I told these people in here, just so you know, I sent them your way with a question, and I put the question out to them. I said, how would you feel if you had to go under the scrutiny of John and Michelle? What's happened to them in the last year and a half? And I figured that John, you could tell them as well as anybody what it's like to live under the scrutiny 24/7, and also have threats about taking your daughter away from you, grabbing her and stealing her, or whatever is going to happen. And but anyway, I figured you could answer a lot of that stuff a lot better than I could on being under that type of scrutiny. To me, it's like being a prisoner. The other thing is, I explained to him, John, that it's kind of tough when you can't walk down your own street, can't go to the post office, can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to the trading post. I also explained to him about Willis putting in his channel about you weren't allowed over there at the trading post if his truck was there anymore. He just kind of slipped that in towards the end of one of his little things out there, and I don't know if that's true, but I'm trying to figure out why would anybody that has a store limit a full-time citizen of the town uh, regulate when they can come in, and give somebody that's there part-time that doesn't even live there the right to be there when they can restrict the right of view, I guess. So anyway, that was what Willis apparently put on. Um, my opinion on the whole thing, it doesn't count because I don't live in Otter Creek, and I don't control the owner of the trading post, and I don't even know if it's true. If it's true, Will seems to think if his truck is there, you can't go. So, oh, Boadicia, aren't we all John Doe? Well, it used to be for somebody that was unlived, but I guess it's for somebody that can't be recognized. Lisa, are you going to throw the lawsuit tonight? I don't. Lisa hasn't gotten it yet. Apparently, hers was going to be delivered a different way. Bodyguards and security guards are way too expensive. It's crucial to get a younger lawyer who understands how social media works. As far as bodyguards and security guards, uh, back years ago, uh, the uh, correlation that I was in, there were times where we could help each other out. It's hard to explain it, but there was times where people had to stand up for each other, and they were able to do it without a whole lot of cost involved. It's not as expensive as what you think. Contracts are easily obtained. This is the only thing I can tell you, or it was. I've been out of the game for a long time, so business-wise, I'm just a retired 80-year-old out here like everybody else with no connections at all. That's crucial to get a younger lawyer who understands how social media works. That helps a lot, but social media doesn't always solve the whole thing. You also have to have enough experience to be able to perform in front of a judge. So you're doing this. What I found out in the past is that some young law clerks and an old lawyer can tame the biggest lion. Young people will go out there. If you get the right one, they'll work their tail off and find the right things that you're looking for. If you give them a description, they'll find it for you, and they'll find it very quickly because of the way our automated systems, work today. But the experience of the old timer gets them past the judge. So it's a combination, I believe. Don't take it to the bank. Let's see, Uncle Mike, chat. Let's hit the thumbs up button. Woo. Snibbles, I'm looking for the itemized income of each $1 bill by senior citizens using their SS money. You know, that dollar bill that I had 5 years ago was only worth 60 cents today. And I'm fixed income. I'm looking for the first itemized income. Okay. Let's see. What gets me, since I retired, my house taxes have more than doubled. And they tripled since I bought the house, and I've had the house 22 years. So, John, sad but true. John, oh yeah, John Cook. Message retracted. Okay, John. I didn't catch what you said. What could Jeremy possibly sue Ray for? My big mouth. He don't like what I say about him and the way I do it. So uh, if you don't stand up and say something, you can't get things accomplished. And the result is, if somebody has enough time and money, and if they're running a sideshow like a circus, they can sue you. And they get a lot of people that come in for the show, probably more so than somebody's trying to tame a tiger or the high rope or anything else. Okay, so drama buys a lot. And when you watch his shows, if you ever see John Cook says, "You're doing a good job, Ray," keep saying it, and I'll do the minions copy and run to their special place and post it and giggle. Thank you. Well, John, don't be surprised if we get to see each other in person. It really depends on how things are going to go here pretty quick. But like I said, I'm not going to let it drop. He poked the bear this time, and I am going to fight for everything I've got coming. And so we'll find out. We're going to find out. Mary's Homestead, anytime, man, you're sweet. Snivels, particular optics. Hurt Fifi's is about all he's got unless he's going to magic up some more signs. Yeah, well, he knows what those signs are for sure, doesn't he? Jeremy's handwriting apparently is outstanding. Oh, let's see. The same thing Jeremy blamed Judge for. Let's see. Jeremy sues anyone he doesn't like, and that's correct. And he certainly does not like me. Ed and some he does. Cabert, agree. Jenny, where's the love in God and memorial respect? If there's anything worse than, I guess it's hard to describe it, but that was awful. Whoever did that, I don't know who they are. I got an idea why they did it. I just don't know who it is. I would say that everybody on Otter Creek, keep your eyes open. If you know who did that, please let someone know. One of the most disappointing things is to have a memorial of one of your children destroyed. I lost a son quite a few years back. He was around 40 years old. And, you never get over it, no matter how old you get. You just don't. And for somebody to come in and destroy that memorial, it's worse than heart-rending, I can tell you that. Does Jeremy know your address? He will soon. I won't be able to stop it. Before the court procedures go too much further or far enough, during the periods of discovery and stuff, a lot of the information will end up coming to light. But like I say, I've got time to do whatever I need to put protections in force for anybody that's in my family. As far as myself, I'm not too worried, and I do have a permit. I can carry. I've had a permit a long time. Uh, every time it's time for me to go in, it's just a matter of signing a piece of paper, and I go in there a couple weeks early before it's over, and I have it before it's over. So uh, I have two that I carry at different times, and I've got one that is a palm that I carry sometimes. So, and one of them actually two of them have hot loads in them, so they work very well, and they're strictly for protection. They're not they're not something to go out and show or anything like that, or to scare anybody. That's not what they're for. And I've never had to use one, but I have carried one a good portion of my life, and I am very good with it. Does Jeremy know your address? Need a hidden camera at the memorial opposite side. John, can you see it from your property? Let's see. Sandra said, security guard in one of my previous lives. If need be, I will come visit. Jeremy is the victim. I am quadriplegic and don't beg for money like Jeremy does. He should be ashamed of himself, but he has shown he has no shame. I agree with you, Monica. Otter Creek has a town page. Can it be put on there? If there's a town page, I don't know if you're, yeah, I don't know. The council and the mayor, I'm not sure, but I think they followed Jeremy very closely. So I don't know how something like that would go over if you were to post something about the memorial on there. It's something they would have to talk over certainly with Zim, and I just don't know where his heart lies. Okay. John and Michelle would know more about things like that, or Kim. And if that thing has been destroyed lately, I wouldn't bring too much to Kim until she's had time to, it's heartrending when something like that happens. And I don't know what the relationship of everybody out there is with the present consul and the mayor. Why is the case filed in Florida if Jerkhead lives in Ohio? You know what? And when I looked at that paperwork, I wasn't sure where it was filed out of. So I guess I'll have to look at it closer. I opened it up and looked at the. All they gave me was like a notice to look at, and that's all I've seen of it. Other than when I went, I looked at another channel to see to make sure my name was on it. That's all. This lawsuit has no legs. If it goes to court, our judicial system needs an overhaul. Hopefully, it'll get turned down in some way. The biggest problem you have with laws in the United States, sometimes they go forward regardless, and we just don't know what the judge is going to say. That's all. If it does go forward, then we'll fight, tooth and nail. At least I will. And I can't speak for everybody else, and I won't without permission. Let's see, Ed. Oh, wait. She can't see me even though I can see her. Who in the heck is that? Hi, Monica. Sorry for whatever made you block me. I don't know what happened, but I hear he likes to watch people poop in a bucket. Well, on his property, my understanding is that when he first bought the property, his system apparently didn't work too well, so everybody got a bucket. Let's see. Pep's got to finish my dad's birthday cake. Rin, WB Miyagi. What? There's Miyagi. Okay, I'm back. All right, Miyagi. Welcome back. JP, it's filed in the Florida Federal Court, Gainesville. Okay. Ray, what are you doing that's bad? JH is way worse than you will ever be, and he's getting away with it. People that have money can do anything they want, and anybody can sue anybody. And so, like I said, he had posted that his idea was to break people. He didn't care whether he won the lawsuit or not, just break them. Uh, he picked on the wrong guy here, but then, we'll find out as we go down the road. I never will roll over. I was taught different from that from the time I was about 4 years old. Um, Not to back down from a bully. They will follow you wherever you go. And that guy will follow you to the ends of earth once he's got his eye on you. I'm sure Lisa will address the memorial tonight. She did earlier in the chat. I feel bad about that memorial. That is terrible. Is Lisa going to be on tonight, on Monday? Let's see. I think it's because he pays taxes in Florida and Ohio, hence the Florida courts. It's a federal civil thing. So, Road King, take care, Jan. Let's see, Pebs. Oh, JP, take care. Jenny, like Lisa, Italian second generation immigrant from Ellis Island. One side of my family is, my grandmother that I grew up with was 100% Irish, red hair and all. And she had 3 sisters and a brother. So, and my grandfather, he was a pretty good sized guy, and raw boned, farmer all his life. And he liked to have a few beers, and I'm sure he drank a few whiskeys over the years. But when he retired, he lived right across from me, and it was a tight family. 3 of the sisters lived within 50, 60 feet, the 3 homes. So, and some of them moved out and went other places later on. But while I was there, my grandmother and one of her sisters still lived within 50 feet of each other. Peculiar. My eyes are getting a little. I got to switch this so I can see it a little better. She would be on after Tori. They're talking about Lisa. Lisa's going live tonight, Ray. All right. Well, then I'll be there to see it. Boy, it's 4:18 already. Let's see where we got here. Angela, sure, you've been no defamation here. There's no case to answer. Catherine, I think until everyone leaves him, stops working for him, leaves him to do everything himself, he won't stop. He is always going to have a crowd around him. He's used to gathering people around. He knows how to talk. To people like me, to watch him very long, it upsets your stomach. But there's other people that like the drama. And if you ever noticed, he makes you feel sorry for him. If you remember, was it last summer where he was having those heat strokes all the time? And but he claims to be this big, husky, tough guy. And then he keeps telling you about his high blood pressure, and yet he poses on there all the time. He's doing everything he can to make you feel sorry. And what he does gets a lot of the older people in there. And they will give their last dollar. I told you one time about that woman in a wheelchair at the town meeting, rolling up a few bucks and handing it to him, and that smile on his face. And she was so happy and tickled that he was willing to take that roll of money from her. And this was an older person in a wheelchair. I guess, I wonder when you start doing things like that, how good of a Christian are you really? My heart, I felt for that poor woman. She's looking at somebody that she thinks is a hero. She has no idea, just no idea what, in my opinion, what he really is. Let's see. Bearded fisherman. Where'd you go? Doggone, I lost you here. Okay, there you are. Hi, Ray. I just got back. I took the e-bike to Stop and Shop to get some ice cream, man. Got the munchies place from the Northeast. Peace from the Northeast. Thank you, Beard the Fisherman. Hot to love us, Irish Mr. Ray. Well, I'll tell you, uh, my uncle, it'd be my mother's brother. He was a heavyweight boxer, and he was a contender back in his day, early 1900s. So he was a tough guy. He was over 6 foot, and in his prime, he might have weighed maybe 200 or 210, something like that. Back then, they were always lean, but he was big and lean, and he was mean and pure Irish. Well, he was half Irish. My grandma married a guy from Canada, and uh, my grandfather was fairly dark complected, and so part of my brothers are dark complected, and some are light. We all have different shades. Uh, I was born with black hair and dark, pretty dark, uh, and at that time I had blue eyes when I was young. But over the course of time, even though my hair was pretty dark black, and as I get older, my skin is lighter. I've got a lot of little bumps now, and light skin. I can't get out in the sun like I could, but yeah. And one of my brothers is he is kind of like a leopard. He is spotted. Okay. And that one of these days, I'll put some pictures up here so you can see. We all have somewhat of a resemblance, but then we show our different backgrounds from the different nationalities. So we're all pretty well mixed up in different nationalities, and therefore we never were prejudiced that I'm aware of when we grew up. The fighting Irish part was there, but Jenny says my grandma spoke broken English and spilled into Italian. Can't speak it. Learned what they were saying after a while. I lived in a Italian town for quite a while. If I don't, Jenny, have you ever had Bunny Calda or Droppa? There's, I know when I lived in out there, the Droppa was kind of a specialty drink, but the Bunny Calda was kind of like a olive oil, cream, anchovies, and garlic. It was more like a gravy, and you'd use bread and then different vegetables like lettuce or whatever you wanted to dip it, you know. And it was good. The only thing is, because there was so much garlic in it, only somebody that had a lot of garlic the night before could stand to be around you the next day. Yeah, Jeremy is a master manipulator. He is, and he was good at it. One thing I can't take away from Jeremy, and that is the fact that he was able to gather a lot of people around him with his antics. Now, there is a sermon that he did out there one day, and I didn't like the sermon, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, let me get my earphones on a little better. They kept sliding. He told a joke during the sermon, and the joke he told was about a woman that didn't like him, an old woman, he called her. And I don't know what his thing is about old women, but this goes back to somewhere around 2014. He was preaching in the church back there, a sermon. And he went on to say, he said, well, he thought that he wouldn't be called back because this old woman hated him so bad or didn't like him, whatever it was. And I'm putting this in my own words, okay? But anyway, he said he was surprised when he got a call from the minister and talked to him. He said, I wanted to talk to you about your sermon last week. And apparently Jeremy was worried that because of this woman not liking him, he was going to get a lecture about whatever went on, whatever it was. And he said, but he told me he wanted me to come back every every month or whatever it was or week to give a sermon because this woman had threatened to not come back if he was going to be back there preaching. Now, that was an insult to older people, at the very least. But what I thought was maybe it's a lie. If it's a joke, it was in bad taste. I don't know of any preacher that I've ever heard that would use a joke like that about an older person where a church disliked him. And so they wanted the minister to come back and preach so that older person wouldn't be there. Every church that I went to over all the, I went to a lot of them over the years. We have never had anything like that, nor have I ever heard a minister say something like that. All jokes were above reproach in any way. A lot of ministers had a sense of humor, but they didn't wear it out on the pulpit. When I heard that, I couldn't believe that somebody actually said that from a pulpit. But I thought it was very distasteful, and that's my opinion. But that's the kind of person you're looking at this time. He said a joke that was very disparaging against an old woman. And by the way, the landlord he had on the warehouse that he sued was an old woman. And if you go back and look at the videos that are up on some of the interchanges back there, you're going to see some eye openers, and you're going to understand what was before it got here. So just take a look. And since I'm on here, okay, and most of you have heard the different stories. Well, there's not too many of you left, okay? But the different stories are, in 2014, apparently he got a divorce. And that doesn't happen too often to preachers. And a lot of times, once that happens, they have a hard time getting a job again because most churches look at that with a dim eye. But the second part is there were charges apparently filed somewhere along the line. And he was not allowed to be around his children during or after one of these things. And I don't know to this day if he can see his youngest daughter. I don't know. And my opinion is that whatever happened in those court cases must have been pretty brutal. And he doesn't really talk about it other than this. He claims that he's able to talk to his children. But the court case that happened towards the end, I don't know what year it was, apparently took that right away from him. Is my understanding all. Okay? Don't take that as gospel. So if those things are happening to him, what right does he have to say or talk to John and Michelle about how to raise their child? So, when I look at all this stuff in the background, and the other thing is, why was he suddenly gone if he was the executive director? And he took other jobs of a lesser station after that and jumped around quite a bit. He started getting into the locker situation, and it took off. And it really took off great guns during the pandemic. So he got to a place, he was in the right place at the right time to get the right job. And with the BS, he was able to get to the point where he is today. Not that it's a great place where he's at, but I'm just telling you that's just my understanding only. But if you go back and look, you'll see that the dates lined up with what I just told you too. So his records, my understanding is they are sealed. One day I did get into something there. I don't know what it was. I couldn't read it very well. I tried to expand it out, and the pixels screwed it up. And I can't say for sure whose name was on it. And it looked to me like an assault case, but I don't know. And I went back and looked, and I can't find that stuff. But somebody said that everything that he had back then is sealed. You cannot get into the stuff. And I did ask different people about, what went on, and have not been able to get an answer. So I don't like moles. I mean trolls. Okay. As well as he took his kids and money. Oh, yeah. Whew-wee. Each child that he had when he left during the divorce, he took $10,000 from each child with him. and he was going to invest it for him. And apparently my understanding is he bought a house. I didn't trace the money. I've only heard about it. But his son talked about it and explained his outlook on it. And it's something that you would have to see for yourself. His son is Jason Hales, and if you just put that on there, you'll be able to see what he put up on the internet on YouTube, and he'll explain to you what happened to his money and what his father wanted him to do if he wanted the money back. So that's something up to you. His son is an adult, and apparently feels that his father's treatment of him affected his life. So I guess I can't go into too far in explaining it, other than when I seen it, it almost brings tears to your eye to hear his son talk about his life when he was young. It didn't sound very good, and he proved who he was. He held pictures up, so I mean, there's no doubt it was his son, and he looks a lot like Jeremy, by the way. Oh, let's see. 2014 is when his divorce went through and he lost his job. I think they happened 4 days apart. Oh, let's see. I tend to play with trolls. Road King just tosses him. Oh, well, listen, everybody. Thank you for coming back in and listening to this. Before the week is up, hopefully I'll get an email set up so that people can correspond privately. And freedom for our voices, freedom. That's what we're going to try to push. And maybe we can help other people out while we're helping ourselves. I appreciate any backing from you, and I'm not talking financial right now. Just the fact that any of you that look out there for my back, let me know what's coming down my road at me. Help the people out there at Otter Creek in any way that you can. The only way you're going to be able to help John and Michelle is to make it as safe as you can for them so that they can go to the store or the post office or even walk down the road in front of their house. Do you realize what it's like to live in a small town and your child can't ride the bike out there in the road at all? And we're talking a town of 100 people. That fence is there for a reason. And hopefully it's doing its job. We know putting the camera on a stick kind of bypasses it, but John has got it up high enough. It's going to make him work awful hard to take pictures of that family. Thank you, John, for your ingenuity and remaking things so it made it harder. Less things that he could do. But Voices for Freedom, hashtag Voices for Freedom. That's our new logo on, at least for my channel. And we're going to make that zing and ring. I'm going to try to put up lives on Saturday from now on. And hopefully between somewhere around 12:30, 1 o'clock on every Saturday. And we'll try to keep them down to an hour if possible. We won't string them out so far that you get too bored and fall asleep. And we'll talk over the court case that we're headed for, and we'll see what we can find out about Jeremy as life goes on, because we don't want to threaten him in any way, but we want everybody to know what he's doing, when he's doing it, so we can protect that family in Otter Creek. Every time they leave their home, they're on camera, and he knows where they're going and where to follow when he chooses. And we know that because of the way he's doing his channel at this time. And the other thing I want to tell you too, if you look, his clickbaits now very seldom say anything about Michelle or John. But if you listen inside, while he's talking about going through these items that he got from the lockers that he bought, he throws jabs out as he's opening boxes. So, yeah, somebody's got to him and said, hey, everybody's scrutinizing your channel because you're attacking that family. Well, now he hides the attack, and you have to force it out to find it. You have to look between the lines. So just to let you know, He hasn't stopped what he's doing. He's still doing it. Tammy said, "Voices for Freedom, love and prayers to you, Mr. A." The prayers are really going to help people, and I use prayers on a daily basis, and it's got me through a lot of things over the years, and now in these special times, especially. I think it's shitty for this guy to pull what he's doing on those of us out there that he decided to sue, and it'd be a little different if we had it coming, but I don't feel I have it coming. I think he's doing it to be a jerk. That's my opinion, obviously, and I don't think I'm going to change it very soon. I don't know why I've got a lag in here, but it's happening, and I'm assuming it's just because it's weak. What I might do is start switching over to a different computer that maybe will pick my signal up better. It shows I've got a full signal, but I don't believe it. It'd be a lot faster. I've got about the fastest internet you can get, and it's still lagging, so something's wrong. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you so much. You're a great group. Two Lees, I'm back. I sorry I had to upload a video. Okay. Somebody said you're going to be here on here tonight. Just making sure that way I can plan on coming in and seeing what you're up to. Let's see. Betty D still says nasty pictures of Bruce. One there. Let's see. Prayers to you, Ray. I got that. Thanks, man. Praying always, Jesus is with us. Yes, Jenny. Voices for Freedom. That's our new thing there. Ed, John has my vote. Thumbs up. Direct link to her live, Ed Warrior. Yep. She's going to be on at 10 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central Standard for you guys that live in the prairie states. And let's see. Strat Lover says, take care. Jenny says, you got my vote also, John. Love you, Ray, and your wife. Well, I'm glad you threw that in there. Let's see. Betty says, Sierra won at Tori's. Yeah, Tori is usually on before Lisa. And you can tell when Lisa's on, Tori shuts her down and goes over there. So, two Lisas, short. Let's see. Two Leaves in Pod. You'll look into that Funko Pop germ thing. I swear I'll buy some. Hey, weren't those neat? I think I missed them before I went to bed last night, but when I got up today, I looked at them. Let's see. My wife is feeling great. She's passed all the testing afterwards, and she's had a physical to check on, blood count, stuff like that. Everything's functioning like it's supposed to. So she's a pretty happy person. She's got arthritis real bad, and it affects her spine and her neck. She has braces in her neck and in her spine that keeps them from spinning or bending very easy. And so she gets that every time there's a storm, she can tell it, and it does affect her movements. So, but she's back to normal. We just take it a lot easier when the storms come in. That's all. There, Two Lees is going to be with Tori in a few, and I am shutting down right now, Lisa. So, goodbye, everybody. See you in Lisa's stream tonight. Remember, as far as I'm concerned, we need to keep a track of what Jeremy's doing, saying, and pray for each other. Don't be afraid to stand up for your rights. Don't let a bully take it away from you. I'm not going to let my rights be take care away from me in any way. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to stop helping out Michelle and John if I can. This lawsuit is just what it is. That's all it is. And he's taking advantage of the system, as far as I'm concerned. And no further thought needs to be given other than we will put him in his place if possible. I can't really describe everything I feel about that guy. I can't come up with the type of words that a Christian will repeat. Now that's saying something, but at least I'm not saying it out loud. Thank you, everybody, and ta-ta, and see you later.